The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to the program, folks. It's Nico De Haan here and my co-host, Paige Clarke, on Living a Primal Lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the program. And it's a beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater. In fact, it's 77 degrees. We have a little spring weather going on.
We've been having those April showers like it's in Maine.
Yeah, it's mostly at night, too, which is pretty cool. You wake up and everything's wet, but everything's green and shiny, and it's really nice. And I also have a new newsletter out, folks. It's Health Signals, issue number 9 for the year, and invite you to pick it up. It's only $10 a month. You get 2 issues each month, packed full of healthy things that you need to know to keep healthy, wealthy, and wise, so you can keep on trading, right, Paige?
Exactly. And what you guys need to know is this is not just a static newsletter. It comes with, really rich links to videos, movies, additional information from the articles. It's just it's so
We're going to go
valuable.
over briefly some of it. We've covered some of it before, but the headliner really is dairy can be a healthy choice for what we call primal living, living a primal lifestyle.
And I think that's a good point because, we're kind of creating a little different definition of primal.
Well, we have the paleo movement, and that's what really got me started.
That's a subset of what we do.
Yeah, kind of a subset. Paleo, and on, I think, page 4, I have a little article about there, why paleo really doesn't include dairy if you're really a diehard.
If you're a diehard, strict paleo.
And the thing behind it is that Dr. Cordain and many other people say, too, of course, they didn't milk any wild animals. And they didn't have domesticated animals. And now certain parts of the earth did have domestication pretty far back. And, of course, there's still real successful hunter-gatherers out there in the Ukraine and in Mongolia that use the herding, and they pretty much really live off of the animals.
Or the Maasai.
Yeah, or the Maasai.
And who knows,
Africa.
I mean, that's a pretty traditional culture as Weston Price. But as you say, what we agree here at the Primal Living is we want to get you away from the processed, packaged, boxed, and bad food.
Yeah, so the bad milk would be, and in this article really goes into it, that the good about dairy and the bad about dairy. And the bad about dairy is really there's a lot of bad dairy out there at your normal
grocery stores.
So you have to go out and seek a little better product. And there's different stages of a better product out there. There's the complete raw milk that you get right from the farmer. There is some lightly pasteurized milk that they would consider maybe organic milk, that the cows have been fed really well. They're not eating the corn. They're eating grass-fed.
Right.
And then you have a better quality milk that then is pasteurized.
And they're not exposed to the pesticides in the organic.
So, these are the different stages that you can go through, and you kind of have to make your own choice.
And then you could even go to the goat milk.
Yes.
Which, is more of a mimic of human breast milk. And it's very interesting. This article touched on it, but I want to talk about it again because as we create our resource link, we're going to tell you how to get some of these things.
In fact, I'm starting to get the resource page together that's going to go into the newsletter. So if you subscribe to the newsletter, you'll know what Paige and I are buying.
Kind of like Paige and Nico approved. And, you know, there may be some affiliate links, or it may be stuff that we actually ship because we really want to get these things out. We get a lot of questions about, well, what did you say on this show? So we're going to create a great resource page, and we hope you'll enjoy it. Yep. But like one of the things that it talks about is the A2 versus the A1 cow. And in this country, 90% of the cow's milk, whether it be organic, grass-fed, raw, or the factory farm cow, is an A1 cow, which whereas in Europe and other parts of the world, it's an A2. And there's less allergic reactions as a result. We're going to talk more about that and where you can get some A2 cow products.
The A1 cow really originally is from England, I believe, the British Isles, that came over here as a Jersey-type cow, and that's where all the cows pretty much came from.
And we know a source where you can get A2 products actually fermented, kind of based on the Maasai African tribe, which that's the tribe I just mentioned,
Yes.
that lives primarily on
The Kalahari Desert area, right?
it's really blood and milk that they
Yeah,
live on.
yeah.
But they're a thriving, very healthy tribe, one of the tribes that Weston Price studied. So, that's cool stuff.
Yeah, very
So
cool.
we want you to, really, about dairy, understand that it can have an insulin response. The lactose, he makes the point that we stop producing lactose when we're about 2. And that's why traditional cultures fermented it, because it kind of eats up the sugars and decreases that exposure.
Yeah. And milk also has an insulin spike to it.
And it does, and I wonder
but
just...
not raw. I think it's only when it's pasteurized.
I want to get my thoughts on that a little bit more,
Okay.
but again, it's got a lot of fat in it, so
Yes.
we're balancing this insulin spike. I think for the most part, it's a superfood. One of the things that bothered me in this article is it talked about maybe linked to Crohn's disease. Yet I know of an article of someone who healed himself drinking this A2 fermented Maasai type, or Kefir's fermented dairy to cure himself and save his wife from Crohn's disease.
So there are different approaches to it. There's also a book on here called The Raw Milk Revolution, and it's a good book, and it has a little blurb on here, and you can find that book everywhere. And then the reasons why paleo excludes it, and really talking about the quality of milk.
He kind of ends on the point, the 80-20 paleo rule. You may consume milk obtained from organically fed, grass-fed cows that are going to, you're going to get your great saturated fats, your omega-3 fats, and you're going to get product that's, doesn't have pesticides. And you're going to get all those healthy nutrients that we talk about, like K2 and conjugate linoleic acid. So, milk in our little scheme.
Yeah.
If you get the right kind of milk, it can be a superfood.
Yeah, and that's all dairy. When we talk about milk, we can also talk about the cheeses and the butter and the stuff that goes along with it. The better quality, of course, that's what we want.
It's a great article there.
Yeah. Okay, then we have oil pulling. We taled about it a little bit last week.
Yeah, a lot of people wanted it in the newsletter.
Yeah, so I put it in the newsletter, and there's a lot of good links in there about different aspects of the oil pulling. So you need to really look at this article and maybe incorporate this, because I've been using it for a couple of years, and I really do feel it makes a difference.
I want to make a comment.
Sure.
I consider this health and hygiene. It's kind of funny when you think of that term. It seemed like something I haven't heard since like elementary school, health and hygiene. But I picture, Socrates and Hippocrates, and sitting in these circles that they would sit at, where they exchanged information and thoughts and pondered life. But, they studied health and hygiene, and that's really what we're saying. We need to learn how to do these things, whether it be from foods, little habits like this. This is good stuff.
This is what we need to educate everybody on, and it should start really in schools.
Right.
The first thing we need to do is when we arrive here on planet Earth is learn to take care of ourselves in the healthiest possible way.
Weston Price proved that these primitive cultures, and when we say primitive cultures, or cultures that have not been affected by modern man and the boxes and the bags and the packages,
industrialization.
Many of them didn't brush their teeth. Well, that's because they didn't have, starchy, grainy, sugary coating mixing with the bacteria in their mouth, creating plaque. So if you're using oil pulling, you're removing the bacteria, and then you're eating less grains and stuff, you're not going to have that breath problem, you're not going to have the cavity problem, you're not going to have the gum problem. So take a look at some of these little tips. The
next page, then we have the Shopper's Guide to Pesticides in Produce.
We covered that last week.
And at the bottom there's the link about foods you shouldn't you don't have to buy organic.
And one of the things that really is valuable in here is there's 2 pages, and you can go, if you have the newsletter, you can print them out. This way you could take them to the grocery store or post them in your kitchen. It's called The Bountiful Year, and it's seasonal guide for vegetables. It's on a graph form, and seasonal guide for fruits. And that's
if you want to eat seasonally, this is really important so you know when these things are in season and when they're artificially produced or frozen in some senses.
Exactly. One of the approaches that's kind of the fusion of stuff that I do in my practice is Ayurveda, which is it's yogic medical science, Indian, Tibetan, and a big part of their healing protocols is eating seasonally. So, it's also, we're going to get higher quality, fruits and vegetables that are grown seasonally are going to contain more nutrients, I believe.
And no doubt about it, the fresher, the better. And then the article on vintage cookbooks we talked about last week, some great links in there. And then there's the, question is always, is organic better? And there's an article here called Ask a Fruit Fly.
Well, Dr. Oz really took a big hit when he said that.
Yeah.
And boy, if you saw his social media pages.
He said there was no difference, right?
Yeah, he did. And then he came back and had to kind of sort of backtrack. And, we've seen a big change in him since. But we know that not to be true because there's going to be less pesticide exposure, and we know that there's going to be more nutrient content. But what's really cool is there's an article in here about a young 16-year-old girl, Raya, who ended up working with SMU scientists doing graduate level work. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And was able to use the fruit fly and is now involved in ongoing research on the benefits of organic foods and the vitamin C content of organic foods and how it can affect different disease states.
And she actually convinced her family to start eating organic by doing these experiments in this project.
Yeah, it ended with all of our fresh produce is organic now.
Yeah.
She did the convincing of her family, so that's really neat.
Page 12 is Myths of Paleo. This is part 2. I think there was a couple of months back I did part 1, but this is talking about pale skin in Paleolithic people and did our skin change.
How high latitudes and poor diets turned Europeans white.
Yeah. So this is a different approach than maybe that there wasn't enough sunlight, but also that the diet actually changed us into the white people.
And then it's very interesting what people don't realize is that the farther north we go, the whiter, we see the skin of the Northern European, the Irish, whatever, the Nordic, lighter skinned, yet more efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from the sun than a black-skinned person. See, we see a lot of vitamin D deficiency in black-skinned people. One of the reasons we see a lot of high blood pressure in people needing blood. But this is really cool stuff.
When I saw this article, I thought, well, maybe if I eat paleo long enough, I start getting darker, and who knows?
That's true. Well, you're a Northern European.
Northern European,
yes,
yeah, very light.
Exactly.
Scientists invent an oxygen particle that if they inject it in you, it allows you to live without breathing. Kind of interesting. This really caught my eye, and it's an interesting article. It allows you to live an extra 20 minutes, so on an emergency basis. But, of course, you have to have the doctor there. Yeah. Okay, I'm just about to die, so inject me so I can live
another 20 minutes. Yeah, it's not like something, they don't have a self-use, but the medical uses might be, to save if someone had a restriction in their breathing due to inflammation. Or in the military, can you imagine, it talks about, if we had the Navy SEALs could hold their breath 20 minutes longer.
Yeah.
Might
Sometimes it's necessary. Primal recipes, I've got chicken liver pate, one of my favorite things. And,
will you please cook those for me? Because I try to buy them every time at the store, and I haven't ever had them.
No?
Never.
I've got some chicken livers at home in the freezer, so I'll be making some of this stuff. And then thick and rich Caesar dressing. If you like a Caesar salad and you want to make some really organic, healthy Caesar dressing, this is the recipe.
And this is a great recipe, and I'll tell you because, when we go to a restaurant, these Caesar dressings are made with seed oils. Remember, the toxic seed oils are not healthy. But we've got a way you can make it as paleo and primal.
Yes, indeed.
Good for you.
Number here is 877-927-6648, and Paige and I will be right back. A reminder that, of course, all these shows are archived on TFNN site, on iTunes as podcasts, and in living color on video on livingaprimalifestyle.com. So look them up. We'll be right back.
You've heard Nico De Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
All right, we're back, folks, and you can call those numbers, and 877-927-6648 is the main number here. And, of course, you can reach Paige and myself at Nico or Paige at TFNN.com, and we'll answer any questions you have. And if you have any suggestions, of course, we'd like to hear them, too, right?
Absolutely. Love it.
So we're talking about the news letter, Health Signals, which you can pick up for $5 for each issue. That's $10 a month. You get it on the first and third Friday of each month. And we just send them out to you over the web, and you get all the information you need, along with all the links that are so valuable. And the last section of this, on page 16, we're talking about some primal moves, some simple workouts that you can do anywhere with limited equipment. And all we're trying to do is make suggestions. This is just some of the things, just like the hill sprint.
Well, this just makes working out fun. I mean, I'm looking at and the pictures in here, the hill sprint, showing a guy, running up a hill. And it really gets back to the fact that the more we can work on our exercise, being primal moves, the squatting. Remember how I was talking about that last week? The full squatting. I mean, we're supposed to be able to do that.
And rolling.
Rolling. Mm-hmm.
There's so many. One of the things I like to do at my place is take people down to the mat. Mm-hmm. So you can get some experience of doing a couple of rolls and doing some deep squats or making some primal movements, crawling all fours, or doing spider crawls and things like that. And that's what really this message is. One of the things is the number one tool in here is called the burpee pyramid. And if you have never done burpees before, they're real strenuous, and you can get into shape just doing burpees, I'll tell you that.
I mean, it's a complete exercise, and it's a real challenge. It says, try to work up to 100. I mean, it's a big thing. I like the way it said, no matter how big and bad you become, these workouts will just get harder and badder too. So
they will. And the nice thing about most of them, like a burpee, is you don't need anything.
Right.
It's just use your own body weight, and you go into a squat, you go into a plow, you do a push-up, you come back, you sprint up, and jump up into the air, and
exactly.
You just repeat it.
And as you archive these newsletters, you can rotate the exercise. I mean, here's 3 or 4 or 5 exercises. You go back with each issue. There's always some different moves that kind of inspire, shake up your workout.
And on the last page, we have a link under our picture, which is Dr. Lauren Cordain's video of origins and evolution of the Western diet.
He's more or less the founder of the paleo movement, for those of you who are not aware.
He's not the immediate founder, but he kind of took it over when he met with Eden.
It.
And he kind of became the authority figure doing, and the reason is because he was doing actual research at the university on this, and this is kind of what he was teaching.
Colorado State University, right?
I think it's University of Colorado, but
okay.
It is in Colorado. But this is a nice slideshow, and it really takes you through some important steps to help you realize why this actually makes sense evolutionary-wise, and from a standpoint of this is the way we've been eating for thousands of years, and only recently have we changed, and the change has brought us devastating results in the form of
inflammatory diseases.
Inflammatory diseases,
It's
exactly.
really kind of helps you to feel good about this move you're making to go more primal.
Yeah.
I like it.
And so that's the extent of the Health Signals newsletter. And take a couple of weeks to go through it. If you read everything and you follow all the links, and then you can do more research on your own. But what we're trying to do is get you starting to think, what should I be doing to make myself healthier so I can have a better life? For you, your family, your friends, and people will see the difference. And one of the things that people remark to me all the time is, hey, you look great, I follow what you're doing, and I see the difference, and I feel the difference. And when that happens, it really makes me feel good, because I understand that, because that's what happened to me. I mean, the change was there just from changing our eating habits. And it may sound like a large commitment to do this, because now if you commit to something like this, you have to do it every day. But when you clean out your cupboards and start getting real food in the house, actually life, I think, becomes simpler.
It really does.
And what, for me, it makes a huge difference is that I feel so clean. I mean, I'm burning a really clean fuel, which is oil. Everybody knows that oil. In the oil business, they know this is the stuff that burns really well. And our natural oils.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of relate to the engine, because we're using oil in these engines. Yeah, we make it into gasoline, but oil is what our Earth is bountiful of. So let's use the oils that are good for us, that we know are not inflammatory, and those are the saturated fats and the butters. And if you're not allergic to those kind of ones, then there's other ones.
Well, like we say, we're not really usually allergic. It's usually because we've had damage to the gut, and over time we can eat them. Like the butter, we can do the ghee, which removes the casein.
Yes, you can do the ghee. You can do butter maybe from a goat, and there's other ways of finding other oils like the monounsaturated, olive oils and macadamia nuts. So there's a lot of good ones out there. So the number here is 877, folks, 927-6648. You can talk to Paige, you can talk to Nico, and you'll be on Living a Primal Lifestyle. We'll be right back.
See you in a few minutes.
TFNN is excited to launch our brand new software charting program, The Art of the Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind software, Art of the Charts allows you to scan for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, butterflies, ABCs, and much more. Art of the Charts is designed to help you when scouring the market for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, and even months searching to find. As part of our introductory pricing, we're offering licenses available at only $59 per month. We're so confident that you'll love this new outstanding piece of charting software that we'll even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Lock in your low price today by ordering your copy at TFNN.com. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. You're with Nico and Paige, and we're living a primal lifestyle. We'd love to take your calls, answer your questions on health at 877-927-6648. And you can pick up our Health Signals newsletter that's loaded with lots of great information. We were just talking a little bit about, the whole primal lifestyle. And, there's a lot of you that maybe have made that jump and are starting to integrate some of the information we're telling you. But where do you start?
Well, I think you start with eliminating things. So my question would be, what are the foods you would put on a list that you don't want to eat? So let's go from
Let's
number
start
1.
with some lists. Maybe if you have a piece of paper, you can write it down and see how much of this you're already doing. Yeah. You might be surprised. You might already be living a primal lifestyle without really having made the whole shift. But, white bread, refined flours, also gluten-based products. And by the way, keep in mind that eliminating foods is one of the first things that any good natural practitioner helps people do to try and figure out what the problems are so we can find out what's really the true cause.
Yeah. And I would even go farther than just saying eliminate the white bread and the refined flours. I would say if you're going to take a step, take it all the way and just eliminate grains or seed-based products from your diet completely, at least for maybe 30 to 90 days. And then if you want to introduce some of them back, like, you can, but I would recommend just doing away from them. That's all grains, maybe the beans and lentils and stuff like that too. And I think you're going to be better off. And if you're going to eat some nuts and things like that, eat very, very few.
So why do we want to stay from white bread and refined flours? Because they're toxic and they've been stripped of virtually all of the vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Yep. And other important nutrients. They're anti-nutrients in the body. And they're difficult for the body to digest. And they've been bleached with chlorine and bromide. See, we used to add iodine to our breads and so forth, but now we put bromide, and that interferes with our body in so many ways. Two poisonous chemicals.
The reasons they put iodine in the years ago is because they were doing a lot of testing of atomic bombs.
Yeah, you told that story. That's a really cool story.
So that's how they started putting the iodine in it.
So now, instead, we have ongoing thyroid problems. Most of you know my perspective that almost everyone is hypothyroid until proven otherwise. And these two poisons, bromide and chlorine, which are in our water, then you top it off with fluoride. If you go back and look at your chemistry periodic table, you'll see that bromide, fluoride, and chlorine are all above iodine, and they displace iodine, and that's why we have fake thyroid, and we have people saying, oh, my doctor said I'm not hypothyroid, and yet they have all the symptoms. Yeah. So, number two.
Number two would be?
Conventional frozen meals. Well, that's what we've been saying.
TV dinners, they used to call those, right?
Boxed and packaged and bagged foods, conventional frozen meals.
Anything that you put in the microwave, do away with it. Throw the microwave out.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
Give it away.
The only thing the microwave's good for is sanitizing your sponge that you clean.
I wouldn't even put my water in it.
No, never.
Boil the water.
So, never. You water a plant with microwave water, it'll be dead in 5 days. Yeah. But these conventional frozen meals, I know a lot of people say, I'm eating lean cuisines. They're junk. They have hydrogenated oils. They have the bad salt. They have table salt, sodium chloride, which is a toxic chemical.
MSG, you can guarantee
that.
Angie says, I grew up on pot pies when I was a kid, and a lot of us did.
Morton, right?
I mean, I can think of a lot of different foods that I don't eat now.
Saturday night when my parents went out for, date nights, the pot pies went in, and chips and dip and all that kind of stuff. So, just stay away from these. As you start to see this, you'll start to realize, too, how much money you can save if you're, those meals just serve no purpose. Don't even buy them. White rice. The white rice has been stripped of most of its nutrients, it's separated from the bran and the germs, so it's really not a health food. We can get into that argument. A lot of people say, well, the Asian people have such healthy
Well, first of all, they eat a lot more than just white rice. White rice is just a small part of what they eat, and it's basically what they've done, and this is kind of interesting, they found out many, many years ago, in fact a few thousand years ago, that the white rice was really better for them health-wise because the brown rice had all these anti-nutrients in them that would drain their body of all the good things and calcium and stuff like that. So although they say the bran, if you look under the microscope, it's got all the nutrients in there. The same with the wheat germ and all that. Very hard for our bodies to digest it because we don't have cellulite in our stomach. We have the hydrochloric acid, which destroys it, but irritates. It's an inflammatory process that's going on there. So I would not
eliminate the rice. So we're talking about grains and seeds. You can start to see the microwavable popcorn. Well, that goes without saying. Yeah. Get rid of your microwave. If you want to cook some popcorn, buy some organic corn. Take butter and coconut oil, put it in your pan, do the little thing, and you're set to go.
And then it's going to be healthy.
It's a healthy food with healthy sea salt on it.
And Ken from Philly is saying brown rice bad or whole grain rice bad. All rice is really bad. Probably the healthier is the white rice because of they've taken all the bad stuff out of it, and all you have is the starch. I don't want to eat too much starch, but I would just recommend, if you want to be healthy, you're going to have to do away with rice. And all grains. That's what we're talking about. Popcorn, we're talking about white rice, we're talking about the breads, and even the whole grains are not good for you folks.
So we can go in phases, though, and sometimes with people when I'm trying to get them to accept this, because a lot of what we say, I know it takes a little shock value when we say to people, fat's where it's at. Saturated fat is healthy. A lot of people have to go back and go check it out, and it's hard to digest.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
I talk to people all the time that say this is so
opposite of what my doctor tells me.
And I have a hard time just making that step to go ahead and do it because I have a lot of fear built up. And believe me, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and they all have that same fear.
So I'm trying to get people to transition. I'm going to tell you, sometimes I say, look, I just want you to start with anything that's gluten or processed gluten.
That's the first thing to start with.
And then I say, okay, now let's expand it to the other things. Because, that gives them that little comfort. Okay, I can have some rice, or I can have some corn, organic corn tortillas. And then we can eliminate those. But we want you to know where we're going with this.
Well, Ken from Philly is saying there that avoid rice in general, but rice and chicken is a staple among weight room
bodybuilders, yeah. Well, there's a lot of bodybuilders that are not...
Well, first of all, bodybuilding is not geared towards health. Mm-hmm. It's geared to a certain look that has been established in the bodybuilding regime. It's not a healthy body, let's say. Some of them are healthy. Yeah. Some of them are...
Well, how many bodybuilders do you know that eat egg whites and throw away the yolks? I mean, it's so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand it. And in fact, egg whites have a protein in them that's actually very hard for us. Is it avidin?
Mm-hmm.
I apologize, but you can Google it. Egg whites have a very... So these people that are eating these egg white omelets, I'm like, what are you doing? You're throwing away the best part. We need that B12. That's that good. That's all the good nutrients and the good fat in the yolk.
Yeah, and if you have to eat some grains, then I would suggest that the best thing to do is sprout.
Sprouted amaranth sprouted or quinoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so so we're good with that. But if we have to do the grains and the seeds in a
But if you want to be healthier, really do away with them.
Right. But if you got to do it in a phase, get rid of the gluten stuff because we've been talking a lot about that. Okay. Number 5, cured meat products with nitrates.
Yeah, and this is, of course, hot dogs and summer sausages and lots of bacon and stuff like that. So don't eat too much of it. When you do eat it, make sure you get it from a really good source, homemade if possible, or if you know the butcher.
Uncured, nitrate-free are preferable.
Yeah.
Coming from organic grass-fed animals.
Number 6.
Most conventional protein energy bars. Now, this is something that, again, we see a lot with bodybuilders, because they're still under that idea that they have to eat 6 times a day, so they're carrying around their protein bars, which are very often loaded with, guess what, soy and corn-based products.
Yeah.
And, yes, I know they're coming out with other ones that are better, but for the most part, when you start living a primal lifestyle and you start using fat and healthy sugars, honey and a little bit of sugar.
Part of the problem with snacks, folks, is we've been building snacks into our eating because of the society. It's great for the food and these food industries have kind of convinced us that we have to have a snack now and then. When the truth is, often I don't think about anything, and I don't get hungry anymore. I used to be eating the bars. I had the 4-30-30 bars and all different kinds of snack bars and fig bars and things.
Oh, yeah.
Now I don't get hungry because I am satisfied because I'm eating fat. Good.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we hear with the people, the clients that we work with. That's the biggest thing that they say. They say the weird thing is I'm just not hungry anymore. And a lot of my carb eaters look at me and say, I can't do it. I'm in endurance. I need it for my brain. I've got a big meeting. I've got to make sure I'm sharp. I say, you want to be sharp? You stop eating carbs. You're going to keep a constant blood sugar, and you're going to feel better. So
yeah, remember that your body will be making the carbohydrates out of anything you're eating. So you really do not need to eat your carbs. You can actually just make them from proteins and fats.
And Ken says he snacks on raw cheese at night. Love raw cheese. Raw cheese is a great food.
Raw cheese is good.
It's a fermented food.
Okay, so number 7 is margarine.
We don't even have to say that. I know you guys know that. Margarine is actually gray like steel metal, and they dye it the color because it's got nickel in it, and it's just gross stuff. Yeah. It's a plastic fat, and it's like putting saran wrap on your cells.
And you can kind of throw in the vegetable oils along with the margarine.
Margarine and vegetable or trans fats.
Yeah.
Soy milk and soy-based meat substitutes. Well,
that's number 8.
Soy is not a toy for the girl or the boy. Now, I'm going to say that with the understanding that there is a version of soy that is good and is healthful, and it's fermented soy, and it tastes nasty. Natto, okay? Or ferment. See, where the whole marketing is going on in this country, and everyone's seeing the soy milks, and I see these women grabbing these soy milks on the shelf because they think it's a health food, and soy this and soy that. They talk about the Japanese eat a lot of soy. Well, the Japanese do not eat unfermented soy.
No, tamari, which is a fermented...
so if you're going to use a soy sauce, get tamari, which is fermented.
They actually take these soybeans and they put them underwater in a brine for like 7 years. That's how long it
takes to make the tamari?
Yes. Exactly.
That's cool. Now, the edamame, which has become the new craze when you go to sushi restaurants, the edamame, keep in mind, those are regular soybeans. We don't digest them. It's an endocrine disruptor, and most of them are genetically modified in this country. Soy is one of those top 6 products that we want to avoid because of genetic modification. if you insist on eating edamame, even though we're telling you it's not a healthy form of soy, then make sure it's organic. So buy it in the frozen section at your food store where they say it's organic, but I really wouldn't recommend any eating.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So, okay.
And the last one is diet anything.
Yeah, fat-free.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cancer-causing additives that are added to fat-free foods to kind of preserve them or to retain flavor because they lose flavor. And so
remember, it's the fat that makes us satisfied and has all the flavor. So if you take that out, you're going to have to add either sugar and salt or
some
both,
of these other products,
or other products that mimic those things, which are artificial and very inexpensive, like high fructose corn syrup, MSG, all these little spices that spice up whatever you're trying to do to make it diet.
And many of them are actually flavored with the synthetic artificial sweeteners. Just as a little refresher, real sugar, real cane sugar, or honey, in small amounts, guys. Remember, honey has medicinal property. I call that a medicinal food. But stevia is actually a product that helps the pancreas retain some sensitivity. That is not an artificial. The stevia is a beautiful herb. You can look at the plant. You can actually make it yourself.
Yeah. Well, one thing you need to understand, folks, is that if you eliminated sugar from your diet and you have a little sugar now and then, it's not going to bother you. But if you have a conventional diet and you're not adding any sugar, you're getting sugar from all kinds of sources or substitute sugars from all kinds of sources in these diet products. So either it's diet or it's not diet, but the whole foundation of these products is sugar-based or salt-based, ingredients-based to keep the shelf life of these products.
Those things are disgusting, and just going on that, let's go to that Splenda. Splenda sucralose found to have diabetes-promoting effects, and I want you guys to be careful. There's a lot of new products coming out that are stevia-based, but then they add these artificial sweeteners in them, and they give them names, and I don't want to say the names. I think I'm not supposed to do that, but just be aware.
Okay.
Just be aware. But, Splenda, there's a website. I haven't been to it in a while. Maybe we should check it on a break. It's called The Truth About Splenda. And it tells you the whole story about how it was tested and, how if you want to kill ants, you put Splenda out.
It's the sweetest product in the world per gram.
Yeah, and I think everybody said, wow, this really tastes good, but we just do not want that product. But it's been found to have diabetes-promoting effects in human subjects. Now, doesn't that make sense if you stop and look at the diet sodas and, that they've added Splenda and aspartame in the last few years, and then look at soda drinkers and the way they appear, and, we're seeing that epidemic. So I really just want you to, when you go to restaurants and you see the little thing with the blue and the pink and the yellow sugars, just opt out. Buy your own little bottle of stevia, keep it in your purse or your pocket, in your car. And if you're going to use a sweetener, do something like that.
Yeah, I would definitely stay away from anything that's diet related. And of course, if you're on a primal type diet like Paige and I are on, those things don't even come up because
you really don't use them that much.
No, you don't use them at all. I don't look for diet.
Use stevia. I don't use diet products, but I will use some stevia in my bulletproof coffee a little bit because I like that.
I use a little bit of honey. And it's funny,
I use the honey.
I just got a new bottle of honey, and now it's the summer honey that's coming in. It tastes so different than and I buy pretty big batches, so here, this big tub, and I'm going, oh man, this is much even sweeter than the last batch. Probably because the season has changed. And
one of the healthiest things, like in Tibetan Ayurvedic Indian medicine, is having a warm water with a teaspoon of honey and maybe a little squeeze of lemon. Great way to start. Before you get into your bulletproof coffee, just kind of get the liver woken up.
Sounds good to me.
I want to talk about the hormone benefits of honey, and maybe we'll kind of go in that other article about that.
Yeah, we're
spicing up your hormones without hormones. So we'll see.
That's coming up,
back.
folks. So here's the number, 877-927-6648. So you still have some time to give us a call at TFNN.com. We'll be right back.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rose, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the program, folks. Nico here and Paige at Living a Primal Lifestyle, 877-927-6648.
Ken from Philly, he's just talking a little bit about trying to educate his 17-year-old daughter that her milk is not a health food, the processed. A lot of people feel really good about buying these soy milks and almond milks and coconut milks, and they still are a processed food. And if you look at the ingredients, you'll see Coregian, and you can research that ingredient a lot. But, the article in the newsletter is really great. It's got a great link, and we've got a link to that book about really exploring the benefits of raw milk. And we're going to tell you more about the A2 milk and how people have healed their guts and their lactose intolerance. I recommend if people are having trouble, get them a good digestive enzyme. Again, we've got a couple favorites, but you want something that has the lactase that helps them with breaking down the dairy.
Yes, and like Paige says, with these processed foods, the almond milk and the coconut milk, just don't go heavy on it. I mean, you don't have to have it every day. I have my coconut milk probably 3 or 4 times a week. I have in my shake.
Now, if you order raw almonds and then you take your blend tech and you make your own almond milk, now that's a different story.
Sure. Yeah.
I think.
But I don't use the almond. I use the coconut. I don't like the almond that much. But
my wife uses my farm-raised eggs and the cream at the top of the milk I get from her. Something recipe, and it's the best tasting. Quiche. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, perfect. I mean, it's all good stuff. So, explore getting raw milk and farm-fresh milk.
And cream is, especially heavy cream, is not processed at a real high temperature. I think a real low temperature.
And if you buy cream, you can make your own butter.
You can make your own butter, and it's great to have a little strawberry in desserts or cherries in dessert. Or
one of my favorite little desserts is raspberries with cream.
Yeah, I mean, those were old-fashioned desserts that we used to get, and, what's happened to those things? Even
peaches and cream.
Oh, even some really good, healthy ice cream that you get from, some whole raw milk. And you make that, and you've got something that's very satisfying. It's probably not going to spike your insulin too much.
Put some cinnamon on it, and it'll keep it down.
Yeah,
cinnamon will lower your insulin spike.
If you use some good whipping cream on top of that, which is fat, that'll slow down the rush of the sugar. So, there are things that you can do. Now, if you eat it every day, then, of course, you're going to head into problems. But
we're going to talk a lot more about foods. I mean, our whole approach is food is medicine. Food is our best medicine. Yeah. And that's our
we didn't get to this today, but there's an article that we were talking about in the car on the way up about hormones without doing hormone replacements for women.
Well, I have a great idea, spicing up your hormones without hormone replacement, and many of you already know that's really what my practice is about.
Yes.
It's about building the metabolism, i.e. the thyroid, which is a hormone, and trying to help people rejuvenate and restore their hormones and naturally anti-age versus what I believe is becoming an epidemic where people are replacing their hormones and they're actually aging. They're shutting down those feedback.
But also the hormones that we have and the way our body works, isn't it being disrupted by a lot of the lifestyle issues we have, not only the food, but the pollutants and things that are in our environment that we touch every day that can disrupt our hormones. So now we have to try to build them back up through some different types of means.
Completely. I mean, the reality is, it's like I took my car in the other day, clean, oil change, filter. All of our filtering organs are very involved in the hormone chain. So if we're all clogged up, we're not going to produce them. So we come back to the holistic approach of restoring function, not replacing. So we'll put it out here because we're kind of coming to near the end of the show. Why don't you guys, if you have some questions, know that next week we're going to talk more about natural hormone rejuvenation.
And this is not just for women. This is for men
and women. I can work with you remotely. We use homeopathics and food and cleansing, and we want to see everybody aging in reverse around here.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me. Get rid of the wrinkles instead of adding to them.
So have your questions about natural hormone rejuvenation. We'll talk about it some next week.
Yeah, and look for my resource page coming up in the next newsletter, and a lot more things. We're going to make changes as we go along and spice up your life.
Love your feedback. Let us hear from you.
Thanks a lot, folks. Paige and Nico saying see you next week.
Next week.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.